one. Check, check, check. Good evening to you. Welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the lead pastor and executive director here. This is Carrie. She is the associate executive director here at Free. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you joining us online. We're glad you're with us if you're joining us tonight or throughout the week. Glad you're part of this community. Just to give you a reminder, this is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And what we do here is break the silence of addiction while creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And y'all do know there's always one thing we don't do in this community, even though I heard earlier we were going to do some of this. And I said, no, we don't do that. Shout it out on a count of three. Remind each other. 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame. But Carrie's going to tell you some things coming up.
Who is going to do shame?
I heard someone said that you should have heard. Who said this? Oh, they're not.
Now we're going to shame you and publicly call you
Someone
out.
said they heard out there that there was going to be some shame. I don't know. We ain't gonna do
Are you
shame
just
tonight.
starting rumors? All right, anyhow, if you are new with us, welcome. We're glad that you're here. We would love to get to know you better. Just outside of these doors after service, come find one of us or a volunteer, and we'll get you hooked up with one of our welcome bags. Inside the welcome bags, you'll find some free swag, some fresh roasted wagon coffee from the extraordinary Tommy candidate who's in the building somewhere, but not in here quite yet.
She's making some lattes.
And her team at Wagon Coffee, and there's a meeting schedule in there. If you flip that card over, you'll see a QR code. That QR code will get you connected to all of our different resources, including how to download our app. You can get a live meeting schedule there because we're constantly adding and changing meetings. And you can also sign up for our newsletter. And our newsletter is how you stay connected each week with who our guest storyteller is and all the different events that we have coming up. Thursday, we had a wonderful potluck. We had amazing food.
A very cool potluck.
It was cool because we were there, and it had really good food, and a lot of you guys were there too. And then next Saturday, we're doing another gathering, but this time what we're doing is we're trying to get more volunteers. So if you've ever wanted to be a greeter and give back to this community, sometimes those first steps into the building are some of the hardest that some of us will take. So to have a friendly face and to have somebody to just greet you, tell you the basics, where the cafe is, where service is tonight, am I in the right place? Some of those simple basics that anyone can do. Come and join us next Saturday before the 5 p.m. We're going to meet in the cafe from 3:30 to 4:30, and yes, we will have snacks. And just come and get connected. And what was so freely given to you, help us give that to the new person walking in. Mm-hmm. And then this one's really, really, really important. So whether you're watching online or whether you're here in person, we are not going to be here on 4th of July. Every year we have 2 rest weeks, one in the summertime and then one following the Christmas Eve service. This year, 4th of July happens to follow actually on a Saturday, so we will not be here. The cafe will not be open, but if you do come to meetings here, the meetings will still happen regularly. Those are autonomous groups that have nothing to do with actual free services, but don't come here because we will not be here. And that's all I got for you. Go watch fireworks.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, y'all, the way we get started here on a Saturday night, if you're new with us, you should know that we start with celebrations. We start with the good. We lift up the good. Maybe you're here tonight and you're celebrating a sobriety anniversary. Maybe you're in your first 30 days of sobriety, or maybe you're celebrating the new things that you get to experience in recovery or in your life. New jobs, new homes, new babies, new whatever it is, we celebrate it all here. Jimmy will have a mic on this side. Donna will have a mic on this side. All you got to do is raise up your hand. Give us the good news. If you're online, drop your celebrations in the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, and we'll join with you there. We take 3 minutes for this, and this 3 minutes is yours.
I'm celebrating day 8 of sobriety, and I'm already feeling amazing. So,
yeah, welcome to day 8. Welcome. Congratulations.
I'm Sheila. I'm celebrating successful surgery and handling painkillers responsibly.
There you go, Sheila. We'll celebrate it. Oh, I don't think the mic's on. There you go.
Jim and I got married Friday evening, and Reverend Ryan was the officiant, and it was great. It was great.
Congratulations, Jim and Amanda. It was an
Hi,
honor to be
today is Matthew in the tech room's belly button birthday.
there. Happy birthday, Matthew, in the tech room.
I'm Fredo. I'm celebrating his 162 days, and I start my new job on Tuesday.
All right, Fredo. Way to go, brother.
Monday
Jalen.
will be 90 days sober, and it will also be 4 years of being out of prison.
All right, way to go, dude. Glad you're here.
I'm Jalen, and I got 90 days sober today.
90 days sober. Way to go, Jalen.
I'm here to celebrate my son's second anniversary of sobriety, and he's stuck in traffic on the way in from the airport.
All right. Happy anniversary to Josh.
Hi, Jeffrey, alcoholic, had 19 months on 15th.
19 months. Way to go, Jeffrey.
I'm Candace, and I am 47 days clean today. And I just want to say thanks. We all live in the same community and didn't even realize we were coming together, and we all met up and filled a whole roll up. So,
All right. There you go, community. Happy 47 days.
I'm Shar. I'm celebrating 54 days sober.
54 days.
My first meeting, my first day.
Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I have 977 days sober from alcohol and 62 days sober from weed.
All right, Stephanie, way to go.
Oh, I'm Rich. I'm a proud dad, and I just want to recognize the other proud dads in the group. Thank you.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day to you out there. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Donna and Jimmy. Let's hear it for the best mic passers we've ever had in this community. Thank you, both of you. Is Tammy in here? Oh, she is in here. Tammy Canada is also in the house.
Our screen off tonight.
Oh, yeah, we don't have the screen tonight.
Okay.
So we've got to turn this way.
We can.
Or just to the side if we want to read that way. You want to take the first one to join the online people?
Yeah. Hey, Evan, 91 days sober and have wagon coffee headed my way via mail soon. Yeah.
All right, Evan, enjoy it. Happy 91 days. Jen says, celebrating 876 days clean, a possible new opportunity at work, and going on vacation to the beach Friday. We're jealous. Also want to shout out someone close to me who has 18 days sober today. We'll celebrate all that, Jen. Yeah.
Hi, Felicia. I am 50 days sober. I'll make it back in soon, Ryan, for my baptismal paper.
Yes, I still have it. I have it, Felicia, and congratulations to you.
I'm glad you were listening to his commentary last week.
Yeah, sometimes you got to give commentary during the celebrations. Oh, is it my turn? Yes. Vanessa says, my sponsee is celebrating 1 year today. I'm so proud of her. We'll celebrate that with you, Vanessa.
Hi, Ashley. I'm Ash, and I have 18 days today. I'm in rehab, hopefully for the last time.
Ashley, keep on going. 18 days. We're rooting for you. Thank you, Tammy. All right, y'all. Well, we are right smack dab in the middle of this series called God Shots. And tonight I want to explore with you, what do you do with all these God Shots? And I've loved hearing from you. I walked in tonight, I heard some God Shot stories. I've gotten some emails from y'all. I keep hearing from you. Y'all are experiencing God shots, and what do you do with them all? Here's the video. Yeah, don't you love the bass in that video? Feels like we're at a dance club. All right, y'all, so in my 13 years of sobriety, I have heard many people say in the rooms of recovery, I've heard it so often, they drop this line, that there are no bad days in recovery. And maybe that works for you, and if it works for you, that's great. Just hold on to it and keep it, but it doesn't work for me. That one doesn't work for me, and it's not because I don't understand it. I mean, I think I get the sentiment of it, that your worst day in recovery is still better than your best day in active addiction, and so I get it, but the problem is when it comes to those platitudes, those one-liners, and I grew up in the church, so you all know I have a bunch of platitudes that were used all the time, these one-liners, and some of them are cute. The problem is so many of them, they lead you on this journey of guilt and shame. They actually foster a lot of guilt and shame, because what do you do with those bad days? What do you do with them? And do you ever get to think to yourself, well, man, how come I can't just be like everyone else? Why can't I change this feeling? Why can't I just shift the whole thing to gratitude right away? And why does this feel like a bad day? And the truth is, in recovery, I've had some bad days. I've had some bad days. I've had days in recovery where I have spent endless hours up in here, and I'm telling y'all that makes for a bad day. Makes for a bad day. I'm telling y'all, in recovery, I've had relationships that I've valued come to an end, and that makes for a bad day. In recovery, I have sat with too many moms and dads who have lost their babies to this disease of addiction, and that is a bad day, and I think God would join me in that one and saying that is a bad day. The truth is, I've had bad days in recovery, but also I've had far more good days in recovery. Good days, simple days, like we have 4 kids. Watching all 4 of our kids learn how to ride a bike on their own when they go down the driveway, then they shoot up the sidewalk, that makes for a pretty good day. Walking on the beach. Jen's going to the beach soon. You'll get this experience, I think. Walking down the beach, and it's just so beautiful, and there's no stress in your life, and there's no phone calls or emails to respond to. That makes for a pretty good day. All the celebrations with friends. I've had many of those, and those are good days. Talk about a good day in recovery. Check this out. A few weeks ago, some of you might remember it. Craig, who is part of this community, he was celebrating 1 year clean and sober. And Craig, that night, he was holding his daughter, and he celebrated with us 1 year clean and sober. He was here at the potluck on Thursday. And when he walked in, I remember thinking, how did this happen? Because it seems like just yesterday, I remember the first Saturday night he came and joined us. And like many of us, I mean, I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't know if he's going to stick to recovery. I don't know if he's going to stick around long enough for the miracle to happen. And there he was just a few weeks ago, right here, celebrating 1 year. And then he says he has a gift for Tammy and I. And he comes up and he hands us this gift, and it is beautifully wrapped in like the most beautiful wrapping paper with a bow on top. I'm pretty confident he didn't wrap the sucker. Someone else wrapped it. It was beautiful. And later that night, we open up this gift, and inside is this beautiful piece of carved wood that he carved. And when he handed us this gift, he said, I just want to thank you guys for what you do in this community. This community, this place, it saved my life. And you can see hands reaching up and the cross and chains breaking around the wrists. Yeah, see, good is, I think it's all around us. And I think one of the problems is Too many of us, too often, we approach the day and we expect the bad to happen. Y'all know what I mean by this? We approach the day and we are just waiting for the next shoe to drop. Because you do know there is another shoe and you do know it is going to drop soon. Do y'all know what happened to me last week? This was just a few days ago. Here I am at Free, sitting in my office. The door is closed, and there's people out in the hallway. Now, what people don't realize is I can hear what they're saying from my office. You see where this is going? They started talking about me behind my back. Whew, y'all know how that feels. That pit in your stomach. I am not going to mention names tonight. Y'all know who you were. God heard it. I heard it too. Do you know what they said about me? They said incredibly kind words. And do you know the same is being said about you in rooms that you were not in? Assuming that you're not an asshole on a regular basis, people, I promise y'all, you say, Ryan, how do you know that? Because I know y'all. I know this community. People are saying kind things about you, and you're expecting the worst. People are saying kind things about you behind your back. They're saying, you know what? They're good people. They are not perfect people. They got a past, but they're good people. And I know them, and they're seeking God, and they're trying to do what's right. They're good people. You see, the good is all around us. But honestly, I would tell you, most days, if you think about most days, they're not just really good days or really bad days, but most days are right in the middle. And I would tell you, medium today is good. The only place where medium is not good is in a Thai restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, or an Indian restaurant. There you want to go as spicy as you can. Make it as hot as possible. Other than that, medium is really good, and on those medium days, it's mixed with a little bit of hard and a little bit of good, and I would ask you the question, can you recognize the God shots that are happening on those medium days? Do you know the title for the message tonight? I've titled it, Coins and Teeth. I know it's weird, isn't it? Coins and teeth, because I had this experience recently. It was one of those medium days, mixed in with a little bit of hard and a little bit of good. And I was at home that afternoon, and I was getting ready to go to the gym, and I opened up my sock drawer. I have 2 sock drawers. Do you all have 2 sock drawers? Yeah, I know, first world problems, right? I open up the one on the right. I'm looking for a very particular pair of socks, because do you all have that one pair of socks that you just want to wear on that day at that time? And please don't make me feel alone up here. You have this. And I open up my sock drawer, and I can't find that particular pair of socks, and I'm rummaging through, and I'm throwing some socks out. I'm getting a little angry because I can't find them. And in the bottom back of that drawer, I come across all these coins and teeth. And you say, Ryan, that's weird. Why do you have coins in your drawer? Well, the coins, they're all the milestones of my recovery. I've kept them all. I still have my 24-hour chip. And my 1 month going all the way up to 11 months. And I have my 1-year chip in that drawer going all the way up to 13 years. And you say, yeah, but Ryan, that doesn't explain. Why do you have teeth in your drawer? I know, it gets weirder, doesn't it? I hope no one ever breaks in our house now that I told them where all the goods are. Top right sock drawer. I have all these teeth because, well, here's what happens. If you have 4 kids and they lose teeth, well, do the math on that. They've all lost all of their teeth except for Bricks, right? Bricks is 7 years old. He's still losing his teeth. But Tammy, my wife, thought it would be a good idea to, years ago, she bought these little, like, treasure chest boxes. They're like this big. They're plastic. So when a kid loses the tooth, you put the tooth in a treasure box, and then that night you put it under the pillow, and then the tooth fairy comes and takes the whole box and leaves, like, is it still $1? Oh, $2. $2 for that tooth. Now, apparently, the tooth fairy thinks it's a good idea to then take those teeth and place them in my right sock drawer. So I have all these coins and teeth. And I'm telling y'all, on that day recently, I stood at my sock drawer for like 15 minutes, and it was this total God shot. It was a total God shot of being reminded of what really matters in my life. And each coin that I looked at, and I went through all my coins to make sure I had all of them, and each coin that I held, I was reminded of all those people who walked with me. All those people who journeyed with me towards healing. And then each tooth that I held, it was like this way of being called back to the time when things were simpler. It was like being reminded of their growth and watching them grow and how fast it goes. And I get to be a part of that journey with them as their pops. And sometimes those God shots will have a way of inviting you into this question if you allow it. What do you do with all the good? What do you do with your coins and teeth moments? Some of you might remember there's an old story about a rabbi from Krakow. Yeah, the rabbi, he falls asleep. He falls into a deep sleep and he has this dream, and it was the most vivid and real dream. In this dream, he dreams of a distant city, and in this city, there was a bridge over the city. And underneath this bridge, there was a hidden treasure. I mean, it was so vivid and so real that when he woke up that morning, he decides to set out on a journey, and he makes his way to this distant city, and it was the same city that he saw in his dream. And as he travels through the city, he notices the bridge, the same one that was in his bridge. In the dream. And so he gets there and he makes his way down the banks towards the river, and he's hiding behind this bush and he's scouting out where could this hidden treasure be. And when he's down there, there's a police officer at the top of the bridge, and he shouts down and he says, "Hey you, what are you doing down there?" And the rabbi looks up and he says, "Oh, me, nothing." No, I've been watching you for quite some time. What are you doing down there?" And the rabbi drops his head and he starts to make his way up the bank, and he gets to the bridge and he says, "Man, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. You wouldn't believe me if I told you." He said, "I had this dream last night, and in this dream there was a city, and I thought it was this city. And there was this bridge, and it looked just like this bridge here, and it was in my dream, and it was so vivid. And underneath this bridge there's some hidden treasure." And the police officer, he lets out a belly laugh. And he looks at the rabbi and says, "If I believed in dreams like that, I would believe that there was some rabbi living in Krakow who had treasure hidden underneath his bed." And the rabbi looks at the officer and says, "Thank you very much." And he makes his way back home. You see, sometimes we can spend our entire lives searching for, longing for, trying to find that which has been with us all along. And sometimes the good is right in front of you. It's right beneath your feet, or it's in your sock drawer, tucked away at the back and the bottom. And what do you do with all the good? And y'all know I love so many of the Old Testament stories, the ones found in the Hebrew Bible, or what's called the Old Testament, because these stories, they get painted as they're just so ancient and distant and barbaric, and they have nothing to do with us. They're irrelevant. But then you read these stories that are so often overlooked, and you find that they have such deep meaning, and they show us something about God. They show us something about the way the world works. And so I want to explore this story with you tonight. It comes from this book called 2 Samuel in the Old Testament. And in this story, you have King David, and then you have his 3 warriors. They're like his closest confidants. They are in the middle of this long, drawn-out battle with this group called the Philistines. Now, you have to understand something about these warriors. This is like, anyone watch Breaking Bad? Yeah, me too. This is like Breaking Bad minus the drugs, all right? That's how 2 Samuel reads. The 3 warriors, in fact, the way the story starts is one of the warriors is described this way. In a single setting, he raised his spear and killed 800 men. Like, these are guys that you don't want to mess with. You want to keep them on your good side. You want them to be loyal to you. So they're holed up in this cave. This cave, it's like a group of caves. It's called a dulam. And they're in the middle of this battle, but they're catching their breath. They're having a moment. And then we get this. Check it out. David had a craving. And I know y'all know about cravings. David had a craving and said, "Oh, how I would love some of that good water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem." Now let's just pause for a moment, because we have to understand something here. David is from Bethlehem. In fact, in other places in the text, he's described as a shepherd boy from Bethlehem. David and his 3 warriors are in mid-battle. They're in this cave catching their breath. And what's happening here? What's David say? Oh, how I would love to get me some of that water from back home. Well, why is he saying this? Well, David, his life has just gotten really complicated. I mean, he started as a shepherd boy. And now David is a king, which means good things have happened to him along the way. But now he's king. I mean, he's got some pressure. He's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. He's got some decisions to make. And in this moment, he is longing for home. He's longing for the familiar. He's longing for a time when things were just a bit simpler in his life. Have you ever been there? You've been there. I can't tell you how many evenings Tammy and I have sat on our back patio and we look out towards our yard and we'll have this conversation. Man, do you remember when remember back when? We started Free in our backyard in 2018. Man, do you remember when? Remember you had just that small coffee roaster? It was like this big. It put up so much smoke. We got the fire department called on us at one point. Man, do you remember there was only like 1 coffee pot? Do you remember there was only 12 people in the backyard? Oh, man. And now we have, well, she has a bigger coffee roaster, much bigger. Now there's a cafe. Now there's more than 12 people. Now there's bills to pay and payroll. And what I know, y'all, is you can have incredibly good things happen to you along the way, and it can also come with a bit of hard. You can also at the same time long for the day back when. And what do you do with the good? So back to Adullam, this cave that they're holed up in. I've got an image for you here. Adullam, scholars say that Adullam, I marked it with a spicy pepper, by the way, because it just felt like the right thing to do. Adullam is on the left. Bethlehem is on the right pepper. Left pepper, Adullam, Bethlehem on the left. Scholars tell us that that was approximately 10 miles from Adullam to Bethlehem. What happens? The 3 warriors hear this longing from David, and what do? Check it out, 10 miles. So the 3 broke through the Philistine lines, drew some water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem, and brought it back to David. Now, these are some good friends. I mean, consider the sacrifice they have just made. I mean, think about it. They journeyed 10 miles at least. Some say 11 to 14 miles. They traveled 10 miles. They broke through enemy lines. They arrive at this well near the gate in Bethlehem. They draw some water. Then 10 miles back to the cave of Adullam, and they present this water to David. And in that moment, David had everything he wanted, everything that he longed for. I mean, just imagine. Imagine what his response must have been. Oh my goodness, you guys took me seriously? I mean, I was just like speaking. I was just having this moment of longing. You guys took me seriously? Man, thank you so much. How could I ever repay you? That ain't what David does. Check it out. But David, refused to drink it. What? Instead, he poured it out before the Lord. What? Far be it from me, Lord, to do this, he said. Is it not the blood of men who went at the risk of their lives, and David would not drink it? Wait a minute. How is this happening? I mean, they risked their lives for this. Imagine you're one of those 3 warriors. I mean, someone needs to say to David, dude, this is not how you build an army. This is not how you keep loyalty. This is not how you treat your friends. We risked our lives for you, and you're just going to pour out the water that we brought you from Bethlehem? What is happening here? Notice, he doesn't pour it out because he believes he's somehow unworthy. No, that's not what's happening. He sees the depth of the moment. He sees the sacrifice made by others. He sees how good this moment is. Notice, he doesn't drink the water when he gets it, when it's presented to him. He doesn't drink it and just and then say, oh my goodness, that was so good, so refreshing, just like I remembered it. Could y'all make that journey again and go get me some more? No, what's he do? He pours it out, but he doesn't just pour it out. The text says he pours it out to God. And there's a huge history here in the Old Testament about a drink offering. What do you do with a drink offering? It's that moment when things are so good. It's that moment when you are filled with such a profound gratitude. It's the moment where you realize, who am I to just consume this thing? And so you pour it out as an act of gratitude to God. It's what you do with the God shot that you experience. See, David is honoring his friends, but he's also recognizing that there's a source behind it all. David has this moment, this medium day, even in the midst of hard, where he sees how good it is. He has that moment like he's standing at the sock drawer. He's reminded how good it is. And so what's he do? He puts a ritual to it. He pours it out. What are you doing with all the good? And I get it, some of you here, you would tell me, you would say, yeah, but Ryan, you don't understand. Yes, I'm in recovery, and that's good, but man, my life has just gotten really complicated. And it feels like there's a lot on my shoulders. It feels like there's some decisions to make. It feels like I got to figure out some direction. And I would encourage you, don't buy into the lie of shame that tells you you are not worthy of the good. And also don't buy into this second lie. That second lie is going to tell you you're going to experience the good, and then you're going to get stuck in chasing more. And where's that going to get you? Hello, addiction. You see, when you get those God shots, what do? You pour them out. And you say, Ryan, well, that sounds good, but I don't, what do you mean? How do you pour it out? Well, I would again encourage you, remember all the sacrifices made by others to get you to where you are today, because I hope you believe this, you didn't build it yourself. You didn't build this thing yourself. Remember the sacrifices made by others. And when you pour it out, don't just pour it out, but remember that there's a source behind it all, the God who provides for you, the God who sustains you, the God who is doing for you what you couldn't do for yourself. And by the way, if you're here and you have been working your way towards God's love and you're working really hard and you're really trying, you could just stop. You don't have to do that. God already loves you exactly where you are. And sometimes that treasure that you've been searching for, it is right in front of you. It's right underneath your feet. It's right in the sock drawer. You just got to open it a little more. Recognize the good, then pour it out. Yeah, but Ryan, I still don't understand. How do you pour it out? Well, I would encourage you to do so with a bit of humility so that you can keep going, so that you can help the next person, because you do know all the good that's come your way. It was never meant for you to just hold on to it and just consume it and do what you want with it. No, it was meant for you to pass it, to help the next person. And when it comes to all your coins and teeth moments, what does it look like to pour it out? Well, maybe it looks like these three things, and I'll close with this. First, you notice it. It's a real simple one. Just notice it. Just notice it. I mean, the truth is, I almost closed the sock drawer because I was so frustrated, and I almost went about my day and found my favorite socks, and I was in a hurry, but I stopped, and I paid attention. And it's not because I'm just super spiritual or super holy or I'm some monk-like person. No, I would tell you it's the way God shots work. God shots, if you let them, they have a way of stopping you in your tracks. Yeah, just notice it. Notice it. Noticing that coin, man, I was reminded of all the ones who picked up the phone. All the ones who sat with me, all the ones who loved me when I didn't believe I was worthy of love. I remembered them, brought me to healing. And each tooth, man, noticing that tooth, it was like noticing the fragility of life and noticing how sacred it all is and how fast it all goes, and I better pay attention. And that longing that you at times feel for things to go back, that experience that you have, yeah, it's okay. Allow the good to bring you back to that sense of home, back to a place of center. And see, when you notice it, don't stop there. You have to name it. You see, when you see it, say it and put words to it. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. This moment matters. This is a gift. Thank you, God. When David was holding that water in his hands, he didn't pretend it was ordinary. He named it. He, in a sense, said, this is holy. This is sacred. This moment matters. This is sacrifice. This is love. It was the Jesuit priest, Chardin, who said this. Some of y'all know it. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Your whole life is spiritual, sacred, holy, all of it. You see, and when you name the good, it stops being random luck and it starts being simple and profound gratitude. And see, after you notice it, and you name it, then you can pass it on. Yeah, pass it on. Pass it to the next person. I mean, this is where David pours out the water. Because I think David realized that you don't just cling to the good and keep it all to yourself. It was never meant to do that. It was always meant to impact the lives of others. It was always meant for you to pass it on. When you experience kindness, you do what? You give kindness. When you experience God's grace, you give God's grace to the next person. And when someone helps you stay clean and sober, you help the next person in need stay clean and sober. We take that gift that we have received and we hand it to the next person. And I would tell you all, that's the way recovery works. That's the way love works. That's the way God works. And I'll close with this. How do you pour it out? How do you pour it out? Well, maybe it's a very simple prayer. It's a prayer I learned from my daughter several years ago when we were hiking the trails, and y'all know how little kids get. They just give up. They just tuck her out. And in the middle of the hike, she just comes up to me and does this. And she says one word, here, here. And I knew exactly what she meant. It means you get to carry me home. I don't have much left. I still want to experience the beauty, but you're going to carry me through it. So maybe pouring it out is you just offering a very simple prayer. Here, God, you take it. Here, God, thank you, God. Here, now you take it. So what we'll do is listen to a song together. This song, some of you will know it. It's a Beautiful Day. Do you know this song? Rushan, he was 10 years old living in Jamaica, and he was singing this song in his classroom, and that video, it ended up going viral. And then Kifness came along. He's in South Africa, and he did a little mashup with it, and that video went viral. And I would invite you during this video, during this song, to reflect on what do you do? What are you doing with all the good that's come your way? Here's It's a Beautiful Day.
raccoon dance in there. That was really fun. If you're new with us, you should know that every Saturday we invite a community member up into the living room to share a little of their story on the topic at hand. This one we kind of talked about last week because we had, I'm blanking on his name right now. Anyway, from Chris, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Chris and Ashley. Yes, Chris, we love you. Chris and Ashley. And what's so amazing, again, is so people have been taking what we've been doing here at Free, and again, what started in the Canada's backyard, and they're doing what they can in whatever community that they're in. So tonight, we actually have two individuals, but one we're going to only hear from one tonight. But I do also want to acknowledge Pete, who's in the back over here. So Pete is a pastor who I've mentioned before, who is, Pete, stand up so we can all get to know you and wave and say hi. So I think this is really important. So Pete is the pastor out in Lyman that I've spoken about frequently, where he's helped bring this into the prisons out there, and he's worked with the sheriff's department, and he's doing some incredible work. He's also moving on to Montana, so he is hoping to start another Free while he's out there. So thank you, Pete, and we are always here for you and are going to help you in any way that we can. And what is also magical is there's another individual who's just over in Littleton, so not even that far away, but what she's created is she's taken her context, her congregation, her church, and she's given that gift so freely to them, and I can't wait for you guys to get to know her. So can you please do me a favor and help me welcome Kacy up to the living room? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming from Littleton up and joining us tonight on a Saturday night. I have a feeling that your community will be live streaming this, so you should probably give them a little wave and say hi to them right now.
My pastor's watching, yes.
Oh, hi, Chris. But I want to get into your story. So can you tell us a little bit of your backstory? Because you are in active recovery today, but that was not always the case. So can you tell us a little bit about what the Kacy in active addiction looked like?
Yeah, I can. So I've always been a drinker since I was a teenager, but I would say to skip the long part of the story, the drinking got heavy about 12 years ago. My husband and I moved somewhere that was kind of remote, and I ended up just feeling really isolated, and I turned to alcohol. And I had pancreatitis at one point. You would have thought that would have stopped me, but I waited a few months and drank again. At one point, I did go to rehab, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't want to leave. I actually cried when I left because I felt really safe there. And I stayed sober for about, 4 or 5 months. And then it just got bad again. And then it got to a point where I could no longer live where we were living. So I moved to Colorado Springs, and I moved in with my mom and my stepdad while my husband worked on relocating. So it was really hard being apart from my husband and, moving back in with your parents when you're a grown adult is difficult. And I wasn't drinking the whole time I was there, but I started drinking and hiding it from my mom. And eventually I got my first DUI in my mother's car, and it was really embarrassing. And I got, a slap on the wrist from the court and a little bit of community service. And honestly, I didn't learn from it. So kept drinking, didn't drive, had a suspended license, but something in me led me to driving one day. And I totaled my Jeep and luckily did not hurt anyone else, but I got my second DUI. And it was in the same year. And I had a really great lawyer, but I definitely paid the price. I spent some time in jail, which for me was a really scary experience. I would not recommend it for any ladies. It was intimidating, and I had to wait a year from when I found out I had to go until I actually got sentenced. So it was like this year of just that feeling in your stomach of knowing this is coming. So, and then, I got sober after that. I got sober before I went to jail, and obviously, I stayed sober after that. I never really found a group, or I didn't care for AA. It just wasn't my fit. It may have been the group that I tried to go to, but I ended up finding a really great job in Denver, and my husband and I relocated to Denver a year ago, and 2 weeks after we relocated, I got laid off. So it was really disappointing, and I fell into kind of a depression, didn't drink, but just started praying. It was really the first time in my life that I prayed every day. I'm like, there's got to be something out there for me, and I could not find a job. It was so difficult. So I eventually took a job that was not a job that I wanted, and during that time, I just kept praying, something else has to be out there, and I saw this ad for a Catholic church for the director of operations, and I thought, what the heck, I'll apply. It was a little more than I bargained for. It was just not for me. It wasn't a good fit for me. But a couple weeks later, I saw an ad in the Indeed for director of operations at Littleton United Methodist Church, and I just felt like I had to have this job. I was going to get this job no matter what. And it was a lot of interviews with a lot of people. And when I finally got to the last interview, I grabbed the person's hand and I just said, I'm praying for this job. And I wanted it so bad. So I got the job offer, and I was so excited, but I had a hurdle to climb because I needed to do a background check. And when you've had 2 DUIs, not everybody's real accepting of you. So I am very lucky. I have a boss and a pastor, Chris, who understands recovery, understands alcoholism, addiction. He's super supportive, and we had a real heart-to-heart about it, which felt kind of weird before I was even working there, but it was necessary to make sure I was sober. He wanted to make sure I could handle stress and, that I had safe ways of dealing with that. And about a month after I was there is when I came up with the idea to do a recovery group.
What do you think? I want to go back to when you first walked into Chris's office and you were telling him about your recovery story. You had no idea that the connection that he had to Ryan or to Free already. You probably would not have had any idea about that. But Chris has been super supportive from the beginning. He's a great friend of Ryan's. He is an amazing advocate for recovery and for the work that we do here. So I look at that on the outside, and I can clearly see that was a God shot, right? That, I mean, I'm not going to knock the Catholic Church, but I know walking into Chris Carr's office, that changed the trajectory of what your recovery journey looked like, whether you knew it or not at the time. What did that actually feel, though? Because one of the things that we say here is that we don't do shame, but having to go to an employer and actually tell them all of those things, like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I have DUIs. Yep, when you run my background, yep, you're going to find these things. Yep, you might look at me as I'm fully, I might be unstable. I might be like all those stereotypes that people carry. What did that actually feel like to have to go to him and disclose who you truly were?
Well, I decided to disclose it before he even ran my background check because I just felt like I should be honest, and that usually pays off. So we just had a heart-to-heart over the phone, and it actually felt really good because he is such an understanding person. It wasn't like telling an employer at a corporation I've worked at, my last job in property management, my boss would have been it would have been really uncomfortable to talk about, but this was a different circumstance, and it just felt right, and I felt really accepted, and my faith just continued to get stronger. I officially joined the church recently, so I can't say I've never been around such an amazing group of people. The whole congregation is just so supportive, and that's what made me feel like I should try to do something at that church.
And one of the other things, like our mission statement is breaking the silence of addiction, right? So like in your context, in your church, in Littleton, why was it important to you to start a recovery group to break that silence of addiction?
Well, part of it's a little selfish because I want to see other people feel better and experience what I've experienced. And I really felt a connection when I started coming here, and the reason you guys don't see me here regularly is because we watch Ryan's sermon on Monday nights at our group. So we watch what you guys saw Saturday, and then we discuss it and we share, and it was just a really good. I also connected with Ryan because he's from St. Louis, so am I. So.
And that's one of the things we get questions and emails frequently from mostly people who are online, who are not in the city of Denver or, so close in Littleton. But a lot of times people are curious, like, how do I do this? How do I get started? I want to do what you guys do. Because this makes me think of, when you were talking about your drinking alone up in the mountains, like addiction loves isolation. It loves to get people, far away as community as possible. And so to create these spaces where it doesn't have to be elaborate, you don't have to have the lights and the stage and the microphones and the live streams, wherever you are, like wherever you're watching online, like you can do this in whatever context you're in. How does it feel to get started? Like, what does it look like to just say like, hey, I want to do what you guys do? What are some of the roadblocks? What are some of the wins? What are some of the takeaways that you've learned?
Yeah. Well, the way we got started, Chris and I got together and just kind of decided that we were going to set up a group, and we actually got a hold of Ryan and Carrie and met with them and said, we want to use your sermon, and they were very supportive of that, and it just kind of we started promoting it. And I'll be honest, we have a very small group right now, but the same people come every week. They really, really enjoy it. I think a couple of them have come here just because they enjoyed watching the sermon so much. So it's been really, really rewarding, and I hope we can keep growing it. We have tried to promote it to the community, but sometimes people don't want to come to a group that's at a church.
I get that. I can respect that. No offense to churches, but I think that is a hurdle that a lot of people face, right? Like a lot of people are, just like when we were talking about even the volunteers, it is very hard even to walk through doors of recovery, to walk through church spaces. Like anywhere that you're new and you don't know what you're looking at when you walk through that door, that can be terrifying for someone. I want to close with, you are going to stick around, I'm assuming, yes. And again, if anyone here has questions about how you get started or what she's done, she's a wonderful person to get to know. And I would like to end with this, Ryan kind of said in his message, you name it, what is it? You notice it, you name it, and then you pass it on. So you notice that you had this gift of okay, I want this recovery. I want to, so I've got to do something in this recovery space. And then you went to Chris and you were able to say yep, I want to do this. We need to have this recovery group. But I want to know why specifically. Usually in 12-step groups, it is embedded into us, this it's the 12-step of you got to give it away, what was so freely given to you. But without having 12-step backgrounds, what does that look like for you? What does that mean to you? What does it feel like to pass it on?
Well, I don't have that background, but I have the background of my own recovery and the journey I've been on, and I would say getting my mental health straightened out was a huge part of that. I did not realize how depressed I was until I got on some medication, and that really helped me stay sober. And my faith, finding my faith. I always tell my husband I'm not turning into a Bible thumper here, but I have gotten really involved in my church, and I go to a lot of activities, and it's not just the recovery group, but that is very important to me.
And I also hear that that makes me think of too is like, doesn't matter where you are in the journey, you do have something to offer someone else. So I would encourage you, I would encourage anyone listening, again, you do have it in you to take this gift of recovery and pass it on. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Can you guys give it up for Kacy?
All the way from Littleton. Get some coffee. It's a long way back. Thank you, Carrie. Do y'all know what I love about my wife? I sit down and she says to me, "What would you have done if the kids were in here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" "Yeah, Bruce, do you get where she was going?" She says, "The teeth," which is why I was honest with y'all, all right? The tooth fairy comes and takes the teeth and puts them in my drawer. So I would have been totally honest with him. I don't know why the tooth fairy does this. All right, y'all. Chris Carr, if you're watching tonight, really grateful for your presence. And man, I'm so glad you encountered Chris over at Littleton United Methodist. And Carrie mentioned it. He's been a huge support to us over the years. In fact, he was our district superintendent before he was at Littleton. And man, that guy was so supportive of us. And you'll see him sometimes here. He floats around on a Saturday night every now and again. But tonight, I guess he's online, huh? Yeah. All right. Oh, mother-in-law. Yeah, you got to be at home, dude. Yeah, don't be here. All right, y'all. The way we close things down here on a Saturday night is with very similar to how we open with the good, the celebrations. We close with what we call heartaches, the burdens that you might be carrying. The ones that maybe you've been trying to carry alone, and then you find out you suck at carrying these alone, and you find out you don't have to carry them alone. It's why we have community. It's why we have a God who hears the cries of the people. So again, we take 3 minutes for this, and if you're online, you can drop your heartaches into Facebook comments or YouTube comments. We'll join you there. Jimmy has a mic on this side. Donna has a mic on this side. If you're in-house, just raise up your hand, and if you need some prayer, some encouragement, that sort of thing, that's what this time is for.
Hi, this is Carrie. I want to lift up Jess tonight. She is one who has come to this community often, but she's currently going through cancer treatment, and she has got a lot on her plate as a single mama, and she's been just suffering a lot of anxiety, and just if we can keep her in our prayers, send a lot of love to her. She is close to a lot of people in this room, and she is deeply, deeply loved.
Yes. Continued prayers, Jess.
Apparently, a really good friend of mine has relapsed tonight and is suicidal. I think I talked her into going back into inpatient, but she will need prayers.
Yeah. Lifting her up tonight, man. I'm glad she reached out to you.
Hi, so I just want to give prayers to my friend Kendall. She had about 60 days clean. She's been battling for a while, but I had to call a wellness check on her today because we hadn't heard from her in 24 hours. She is okay, but very much intoxicated and on drugs. And her mom's going to fly out here and kind of dealing with that and her losing yet again another job. So prayers for her.
Yeah. Prayers for Kendall tonight.
Hi, I would just like to pray for all of the addicts who are still in their addiction.
Yeah. Lifting them all up. A lot of suffering out there. That's why we got to stay doing what we're doing. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'd like to ask for prayers for a young homeless man that I've seen several times in my neighborhood. He holds a sign. The first time I saw him, it said 4 months sober. So of course I stopped, and I've talked to him, and I run into him when I'm walking my dog, and I saw him today, and he's over a year sober. And so it's kind of half celebration, half heartache. But he was struggling trying to earn money so he could help his mother, who has to move back to Colorado, who's also in very, very difficult addiction. And I said to him, I didn't have anything on me. I was walking my dog. And I said, well, I know I'm just a weird lady, and my son asks about you, but know that you have a family praying for you. And he said, you're not a weird lady. When I heard you, I'd had this hard day, when I heard your voice, I had felt anxious, and now I feel peace. And I said to him, that's a God shot.
Yeah.
Do you know what a God shot is? And he said, no. And so I told him, and he wrote it down on this little piece of paper. So just prayers for this young man who's managed being homeless, being assaulted, to stay sober, and to keep moving forward.
What's his name?
Midas.
Midas.
Yes.
Prayers for Midas.
Prayers for Midas. Thank you.
That's really cool. Yeah. Way to go, Midas, on a year sober. Is that it? Is that it, Jimmy? We're out of time. Tammy, you want to join me back up here for a moment? Oh, Jim is going to join me up here. Come on up here, Jimmy. You got to turn the hat backwards, though, so people can see the face.
Think they were like brothers or what?
Yeah.
All right, is that better?
So now you're doing it. Now you're doing it. You want to take the first one?
Sure. Jason Maybe. Prayers for my friend Laura, who lost her 20-year-old daughter this week to this awful disease of addiction.
Yeah. Lifting up Laura tonight and her family and everyone who loved her. Yeah. Jim, you get the only one, man. Thank you for that. We truly do root for one another in this room. Well, listen, y'all, if you've been impacted by this mission of breaking the silence of addiction, creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection, if this is your home, your community, your place, well, you do need to know we are funded by you, the people. We rely on your generosity here. I know many of you have made that part of your life. It makes a big difference here. It allows us to keep going. So if you want to donate to Free, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can download the app. It's Free Recovery Community. It's free to download. All of our content's on there, meeting times, guest storytellers, messages, and there's a giving button. You can give one time or set it up to be recurring. You can also do the same thing on the website, freerecoverycommunity.com. Or for those of you in-house, there's 2 giving boxes just outside those set of doors. And please don't forget about the Kind kiosk. It's the one tippy-tap system. It was down last week, apparently, but it is back up this week. So if that's your way of giving, we're really grateful for it. And if you're not giving here, please find somewhere, some people, go find some suffering in the world. Because if you're in recovery and you don't find some suffering in the world, you're going to be miserable. Find some suffering in the world, make an impact, make a difference. Give, because giving does change. You give somewhere, and we are grateful when you choose to give here. Shall we go out with a prayer? Yeah, I think we should. I would invite you to just open up the hands. Just a very simple sign of openness. And maybe tonight you're just a little bit more open to encountering the good that is coming your way in all those medium, mundane days. Yeah, so just breathe it in for a moment. And if you don't know the 3rd step prayer, what's on the screen, we'll pray it together. It goes like this. God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. Amen, and grace and peace to you all. See you next time.